Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe. So let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are taking a look at my first battles in the Master Premier Classic. And we're now at the business end of the season, which means the push to legend has begun. So today I'm going to be showcasing, in my opinion, the strongest team in this format. It's going to consist of a double legacy Shadow Gyarados in the lead. And it's double legacy because I Elite TM to get Dragon Tail and I evolved it on the December catch-up event last year to get Aqua Tail. As our closer, we've got the one and only Shadow Machamp. Not just any Shadow Machamp. Once again, I've Elite TM this to Stone Edge. If you're wondering why, it near one-shots both Dragonite and Togikiss, and it actually does one-shot Gyarados. This is a bit more squishy. So that Stone Edge is preferred over Rock Slide. No payback because you can obviously beat the very few Psychic types such as Metagross, straight Cross Chop. Rounding this team off, we've got my favourite Master League Mon, the big, the thick, the one and only Shadow Snorlax, who will be equipped as our best buddy for that breakpoint against Dragon Breath users, aka Dragonite. And without any further ado, let's just get right into it. We are showcasing 3 sets today, so if you want to run this team, you're going to get a real good insight on how it works. In game 1, we pick up a lead against our Waterfall Gyarados. This is brilliant as Waterfall is resisted and Dragon Tail does hit for neutral. You can see we've got this thing so low. I'm going to shield this up in case an outrage, and we're going to be able to Dragon Tail down and leave with an absolute bucket load of energy. We've already got the Aqua Tail locked and loaded, and in game 1 they've switched into a Swampert, so that must mean whatever's in the back is also weak to Gyarados. I spam out this Aqua Tail, we get our shield right back, and we manage to outpace them to yet another Aqua Tail. They are going to have to go for Sludge Wave to KO as the resist Hydro Cannon just won't do enough damage. This should be the Sludge Wave, and at this stage we can allow our Gyarados to go down, which we do, and now we're going to come in and try and aggressively counter down with Machamp. Unfortunately, they do get to a move. I am going to shield this up because I think it's going to be a Metagross in the back, obviously as they didn't want to bring it in against Gyarados. And I've actually got an Excadrill in the back, so this right here is going to be a good game. This first Cross Chop will grab the last shield, and we should outpace him to this next Cross Chop, which is either going to KO or near KO. And we've obviously got the big thick boy in the back who just remains on the bench. So GG's to that opponent, off to a very good start. Moving on into game 2 of the video. Once again, we pick up the mirror. However, this time they're on Dragon Breath. So we are both hitting each other for neutral. I go straight for this Crunch. We don't like to bait on this channel. Crunch lands. We don't get the defense drop, but I do make a nice swap now into my Snorlax because the Crunch on Snorlax will do far less damage. You can see the bulk of Snorlax, that's hardly done anything. It's done around 1/3 of our health. They actually now switch into Excadrill. Excadrill is not a great response for the big thick boy, as these superpowers do huge damage. We get the first shield, which is great for us, and now we are going to allow our Snorlax to go down. However, Snorlax is really thick, and we don't actually get taken out. However, we do get Mud Shot down, which obviously is a lot worse. However, we have got a really great response for Excadrill in our one and only Shadow Machamp. We are going to have to shield up this Drill Run as it would do around 80% of our health. We shield it up and now we look to commit to the counter down. However, as they manage to farm down our Snorlax, we are actually going to have to double shield. They now aggressively switch into the Metagross, so they are running Gyarados Double Steel. This is a really common line. Machamp, well the Shadow Machamp, does actually have a pretty good matchup with Metagross. You can see these counters are doing huge damage. I look to try and catch, however I'm unsuccessful. However, they are over farming heavily and they allow me to get to this Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail does draw the last shield. We manage to sneak a Dragon Tail through. They're going to have to go for a Psychic to take us out. Meteor Mash doesn't take us out, and unfortunately though we are unable to Mud Shot him down, or Dragon Tail him down, sorry. Machamp comes back in with the loaded energy. We hit the Metagross, take it out, and now it's going to be a race. The opponent comes back in with the Gyarados. We're desperately trying to get to the cross chop, and unfortunately we forget about the Mon in the back. The opponent has really outplayed us in this battle. They did switch out on the Excadrill, and the opponent has played really well. GG's to that opponent. We lose game 2. Moving on into the next battle, we pick up a dreadful lead into Magnezone. Obviously Magnezone hits Gyarados for double super effective with its electric attacks. They are staying in, however. We eat the wild charge on Snorlax. Snorlax tanks that no problem. Once again we are met with an Excadrill. Like I said in the previous battle, Excadrill would get near one shot by a superpower, so they do shield it up. The opponent this time is over farming heavily, and they actually allow us to get to a second superpower. Even debuff, this still does around 75%. We actually draw both shields, and it's actually a delayed CMP. It's a delayed CMP because Excadrill has got a higher attack than Snorlax. However, we must have reached the move one turn before. So now, up 2 shields, we can come in with Machamp. We sneak the counter through. We're going to shield this move up, and we are going to look to try and counter down. But once again, they've got absolutely loads of energy. But this time, we do successfully counter down. And they've actually got a Snorlax in the back. So they've led Magnezone. They've got Excadrill on the save switch and Snorlax in the back. So that is 3 things that are weak to Shadow Machamp. Not only weak to Shadow Machamp, 3 things weak to counter. Machamp is quite uncommon, however Conkeldurr and Haxorus are more common, and this team is absolutely shredded by counter. So to me it doesn't make too much sense, but we'll take that as Machamp sweeps that team. GG to that opponent. Moving on into this next battle, we pick up a lead against Excadrill. A lot of Excadrill do instant swap, as a lot of Gyarados in the lead are running Waterfall. We're on Dragon Tail, they switch into Milotic, so this isn't a bad matchup for Gyarados. We are going to stay in for a while. We hit him with this Crunch, which does do quite a lot of damage. We look to try and catch the move on Snorlax, and we are successful. I don't think they've got enough of the Blizzards. This is just going to be a Surf. However, the Gyarados was getting quite low, so I imagine they would throw it at that time. Once again, this is a Surf, which we are going to be able to tank. And we're now desperately trying to get the Lick down and leave with a move. We successfully do that. And now Snorlax is loaded full of energy. In comes Dragonite. Dragonite Snorlax is a pretty neutral matchup. You get to your move, at the same time. However, the Dragonite does win CMP. However, they are looking to farm us down, so they let us get to a second Body Slam. The second Body Slam now starts to add shield pressure. So Snorlax has not only took out the Milotic, we've now got this Dragonite super low. The Dragonite once again is still farming up. They've got an absolute bucket load of energy. We fire off the Aqua Tail, and at this stage now, as the Dragon Tail has gone through, I could shield this up. However, we survive the Dragon Claw and we switch out instantly into Machamp. Machamp up shields, Excadrill in the back, and they top left. So GG's to that opponent. The reason I didn't shield the Gyarados is because we obviously knew they had the Excadrill in the back, and Machamp up 2 shields couldn't lose that match. Once again, we see the mirror match in this next match. So you can see, as they're on Waterfall, they didn't even build up to the outrage this time, so I don't even need to respect it. We are going to win this matchup going straight Crunch. The opponent does draw a shield. However, we are going to outpace him to this next Crunch. So the opponent has now shielded once. They're going to have to double shield the Gyarados to win lead. They actually don't, so we managed to win the lead matchup up a shield. We're now in a great spot. They bring in Haxorus. Shadow Machamp is an alright response here. They're hitting us for counter, which is doing a lot. However, we're hitting them back for the neutral counter. However, we get stabbed. You can see our counters do really chunk them down. They now switch out into Togekiss. I bank quite a lot of energy and switch into Snorlax. Snorlax, especially the Shadow one, with the best body boost, is pretty good in this matchup. You do win in even shielding scenarios. You win the 1, the 0, and even the 2 shield, just because Lick is doing so much damage. We get to this next Body Slam. The opponent doesn't shield. Out comes Haxorus. They are looking to counter us down. However, Snorlax is so thick. This is why he's my absolute MVP in any form of Master League. Even though we hit him with super effect, you can see the Lick's got it so low. We got the last shield with the Body Slam. Now we're at the move with Machamp, so we can shield this up even if they bait us. We're at the cross chop, so this cross chop is going to be enough to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Moving on into this next battle. Once again, we see an Excadrill lead. This one actually stays in a bit. They check what move we're on. They see we're on Dragon Tail, and for some strange reason, they now switch into a Waterfall Gyarados. So they've switched out of a winning matchup into a losing matchup. I am a bit baffled at this stage. However, we land the crunch, we get the defense drop. Not only do we get the defense drop, we sneak a Dragon Tail through. So we shield up this outrage, we commit to the farm down. Now we've got a really healthy Gyarados, loaded full of energy. We are down a shield. However, I know they're not going to bring that Excadrill back, as they are going to have to eat far too many Aqua Tails. We've managed to draw out the Charmer, so now we have the perfect alignment. You can see that these Dragon Tails do absolutely nothing. However, these Aqua Tails do a nice chunk of damage. Unfortunately, we are both using 3-turn moves, and they successfully get a charm through both times. However, the two Aqua Tails have got this togikiss so low. At this stage, we can just commit to the lick down. Even if this is a flamethrower, they have the energy. You can see flamethrower doesn't do that much damage. They switch out aggressively into Excadrill. They see the Machamp, and once again Machamp scares away the opponent. That's the third top left of this video already. Moving on into this next battle. We pick up a pretty bad lead. One of the worst leads you can see on Dragon Tail is a Charm lead. So we're obviously double weak to Charm, so we are going to have to stay in with our Gyarados. Like you saw in the last matchup, these Aqua Tails do start to really chunk. Unfortunately, once again, denying Charm on Dragon Tail is something that I'm not very good at. You can see we are letting Charms through. However, the opponent has actually shielded, obviously realising we're double weak. We now bring in the big thick boy Snorlax. We are now going to use it as a damage sponge. You can see that the Flamethrower didn't do too much damage. They actually give up switch. They switch into Snorlax. And we've got a great response in Machamp. However, I am in a bit of a rough spot because I don't want to leave too much health on my Machamp, because obviously I would get farmed down. So the Machamp is going to take out Snorlax here. You can see we haven't got that much HP. I am hoping to get to the Stone Edge. However, I can see that they are quite low, so I am just going to throw this double resisted cross chop. It doesn't do a lot. However, we have now got them deep into the red. I'm going to bring back in Snorlax, and I am going to commit to the lick down. We've got a 2-shielded Snorlax with a load of energy, and in the back they've got a Swampert. This is going to be a close one. At this stage, a Hydro Cannon probably would take us out, so we are going to have to try and get to another 2 Body Slams. The opponent is farming up a lot. This Body Slam will grab the last shield. The opponent cannot hold 3 Hydro Cannons. They're 40 energy each. Obviously, the maximum energy you can hold is 100. They're just short of 100 now, so we're going to shield this move up. They're at the back-to-back. However, Snorlax has got the move ready, so this Body Slam should near take him out. And now it's going to be a race. The opponent probably should have committed to the Mud Shot down, but you can see Snorlax has far too much HP for that. So at this stage now, we are just going to be able to lick down for the win. GG's to that opponent. Moving on to this next battle, we see a Mamoswine. This is kind of a neutral matchup. These Avalanches do near one-shot. However, Shadow Gyarados has got a quite high attack stat, so these Aqua Tails almost one-shot as well. The opponent switches out and they look to try and make a catch. We get a magical bit of lag. However, I don't know if we obviously didn't gain the energy. I'm unsure if the opponent did. They shield up the crunch, and at this stage I'm quite happy to look to stay in. The opponent hasn't thrown any energy yet, and we now fire off this second crunch. The first one grabbed the shield, the second one does huge damage, and now I'm quite happy to let my Gyarados go down. We are at shield parity now, and there's a nice bit of health left on the opposition's Gyarados that I can choose to farm down. I wait out my switch timer and I bring in Snorlax. We are going to hit with one move, but like we've seen already in this video, Snorlax is so thick, it's not bothered by Aqua Tail. That does hardly anything. They now aggressively switch into the Mamoswine, and this is why we was happy to stay in, because we've got a solid response for the Mamo. They fire off the Avalanche, and now we commit to the counter down. Let's see what they've got in the back. They've still got a shield, but we have got a Machamp that has got some loaded energy, and we've obviously got a Snorlax with some loaded energy. They've got a Metagross in the back. These cross chops are really going to start to add up. They shield the first one. We're already at the second one. This second one is going to do huge damage. It should get them below half health. You can see they're now into the yellow. They are over farming. Obviously, they are trying to get to back-to-back moves. However, our Snorlax is so healthy. A Meteor Mash isn't really going to threaten us. You can see that they just let it go down. and we managed to lick down and take that game. So moving on into this next battle, we see yet another Excadrill lead, and yet again they switch into Gyarados. So like you've seen, I do like to just stay into this matchup, as ideally I do want to get my Shadow Machamp onto that Excadrill. We land the crunch, which is great for us, and you can see that I am in a health range where I can shield this crunch up, and I'm going to look to try and Dragon Tail down. One more and we managed to do it. So once again we have gone down a shield, however we got loaded full of energy. So now we are going to see their Backmon. And once again, they've got a Milotic. This Milotic is on Dragon Tail. So we've seen this team earlier in the video. However, the Milotic was on Waterfall. Dragon Tail obviously does hurt Gyarados a lot more, but we have managed to get this Milotic into the yellow. They bring out the Excadrill. We bring in Machamp. We overfarm. They've got 2 shields. They are going to have to start shielding something up. This Cross Chop gets the first shield. You can see they're farming up an absolute ton of energy. I'm going to shield this up now. I'm going to force him to empty all the energy, and I think I can finish this game with Snorlax. The Excadrill is forced to throw again because we would counter him down. Drill Run doesn't even take us out, and Machamp actually manages to counter down. Unfortunately, we don't get to the Cross Chop. The Milotic has got a shield, so at this stage, the win con for us is just going to be to lick down. You can see that Surfs don't do a lot to the bulky Snorlax. Once again, we are met with a great bit of lag. The opponent gained, I don't know, a couple of Dragon Tails. They're already at the second Surf. However, Snorlax is still in the yellow. It's now 5 more for the next move. They get to 3 and Snorlax licks down and takes that game. GG's to that opponent. Moving on into the next battle. Once again, we see the Waterfall Gyarados lead. You absolutely love to see it. This opponent, once again, looks to try and catch. We bank an absolute bucket load of energy onto the Gyarados. That's because I am worried this is going to be double charm. So I'm going to need as much health on the Gyarados as possible. And not only is it possibly double charm, the opponent gets the Ancient Power boost, which is dreadful. So you can see that these body slams do absolutely nothing now. We fire off this second body slam. We really need to start grabbing shields. However, if it is double charm, the fact they got the boost, we are going to get absolutely wrecked. We come in with Gyarados. You can see that one charm did so much damage. I now commit my second shield, and I am looking to Dragon Tail down. Let's see what's in the back. They bring back out the Gyarados. I imagine if it's double charm, they aren't going to shield this, so I go straight for the crunch. They actually do shield, but we're at the back-to-back, so I go for this second crunch. This should do a nice chunk of damage. Shadow Crunch does hit hard. You can see we're now at about even energy. I am looking to desperately Dragon Tail down. Unfortunately, I'm unable to do so. Outrage comes through, takes us out, and in the back, there's the second Charmer. So you already know what this is. It is going to be a loss. However, as we're running Stone Edge, it's nice to throw a BM Stone Edge. Let's see if the opponent's trying to flex. Unfortunately not. They shield it up and they take that game. So like we said at the start of the video, double charm is something this team is just going to really struggle with. Our only answer is Snorlax. Both Gyarados and Machamp do quite lose it. So in this next game, we see a lead against Dragonite. This is kind of neutral. Dragonite and Gyarados both tie to the moves. However, they hit us for neutral with Dragon Claw. Aqua Tail is resisted. So we are going to lose this in the one shield. However, this Dragonite once again is in farm down range. So we come in with Snorlax and we get ahead on energy. Let's see what they've got in the back. They now come in with their own Gyarados. This Gyarados is on Waterfall. So we are trying to time our charge moves correctly to not let any Waterfalls through, as it is quite devastating when you let a free turn move through. We actually get the shield with the body slam, so I'm wondering what they've got in the back. I wouldn't normally expect the Gyarados to shield at that range. Once again, we deny the Waterfall and we fire off this next body slam. This body slam should do a nice chunk of damage. You can see Shadow Body Slam is absolutely massive. Once again, we get to yet another body slam. Snorlax is putting in so much work. We manage to take him out. In the back is a Mamoswine. We've got Shadow Machamp with a shield, so we're going to shield up this Avalanche. They are in cross chop range. However, as we're running Legacy Stone Edge, it's only right that when you see an Ice type, you land a big Stone Edge. So, 1 HP, boom. GG's to that opponent. as you can see there, the enthusiastic boon. So we actually see Excadrill lead. They instantly swap once again into Gyarados. This seems to be a common trend. They obviously like to try and draw out our best water counter, as they've probably got a Milotic in the back. However, we've got a team that does great against Milotic. We've got something that does great against Excadrill. So, like we've seen previously, we're happy to stay in. The opponent baits us with an Aqua Tail. So, at this stage, we are now going to shield this up and we're going to go for a Crunch. This Crunch should take out the Gyarados. So we managed to maintain switch advantage and we're at shield parity. They bring back in the Excadrill. We CMP tie. They obviously do have to throw as they don't want to get hit with an Aqua Tail. So the Excadrill is energy dry. We can now bring in our Machamp. So we've got the alignment that we want. In the back actually isn't a Milotic. They've actually got a Garchomp. So we are going to soften it up with a Cross Chop. That gets it down into the yellow with the subsequent licks. Even an Outrage isn't going to take out the big thick Snorlax from this health. It is going to get us low, however I'm not going to shield it up. We managed to get to the Body Slam. I imagine the opponent is going to want to shield this up because they are going to think their win con is Garchomp. So we are counting. They're at 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5 Dragon Tails. This, my friend, is only a Sun Tomb, so you've got no chance of grabbing the final shield. Sun Tomb gets us low, however, we are now at the Cross Chop. This Cross Chop is going to take out the Energy Dry Excadrill, and one counter takes out the Garchomp. So even with our lower defense, Shadow Machamp closes out that game. GG's to that opponent. Moving on into this next battle, we see the shiny Gyarados. This Gyarados is running Dragon Breath, so we've seen how this works. Dragon Breath and Dragon Tail is a fairly even matchup. It pretty much depends who gets the defense drop and who wants to shield. So they shield our move up. I'm in a bit of a spot here. Do I want to shield? I actually decide not to shield, and I am just going to now switch out into Snorlax. We are going to save the Gyarados for a potential sack swap. They now bring in a Snorlax of their own. So we are so far ahead in energy. I am going to go for the back-to-back superpower because superpower, the first one does huge damage. The second one won't quite take it out. However, it will get the Snorlax really, really low. Superpower comes through. You can see they survive with a couple of HP. They're building up a load of energy. The opponent's counting is really good. They are going to land the superpower, which will take us out, and it will also mean there's no farm left for us. As they are debuffed, I'm deciding I'm not going to shield this up. Shadow Machamp is squishy, but a debuff Body Slam isn't really worth a shield. We are going to take shield advantage. They come back out with the Gyarados. So this must mean they've got a steel type in the back, because they are just now giving us free farm. I'm going to use both shields here, and I am going to commit to the counter down and leave with an absolute ton of energy. If you're bringing in this low health Gyarados, you've obviously got something in the back that doesn't want to see Machamp. And that right there is confirmed with yet another top left from Shadow Machamp. Moving on into this next battle. Once again, we see the famous Excadrill lead. They switch out into Gyarados. So you know what's up. We're about to hit them with this Crunch. This opponent actually chooses to shield. We've now got quite a lot of energy. So let's see what we do here. Do we shield this move up? We actually call the bait, which is huge for us. We get the Dragon Tail through, so we can now shield this next move up, even though I know it's going to be an Aqua Tail. We're already at the Crunch. So we fire off one more Dragon Breath, or Dragon Tail, sorry. We fire off this Crunch. Crunch takes them out, and we've now got a little bit of an energy lead. I'm hoping that I can get to the move against the Excadrill, but once again, they come in with the Garchomp. So we're not quite in the same spot as he was before. We're in the 1-to-1 shield, however it is the same team. Let's see if we can manage to clutch off this game. They let the Body Slam through. At this stage now we can allow Snorlax to go down and Machamp should be in a prime position to close. They actually fire off an Earth Power, so they're not even on Outrage. We are now going to let this through as once again they haven't got the energy required for a harder hitting move. It was only 5 Mud Shots. I know it's a Sun Tomb. And yet again, I think that's the 6th top left of the video. Shadow Machamp getting all the rage quits. Moving on into this next battle, we see our first Haxorus lead. This is really crazy, the fact the opponent is choosing to stay in against Gyarados. We're hitting them for super effective, they're hitting us with resisted. They bring in Snorlax, so we bank a bucket load of energy and we bring in Shadow Machamp. Shadow Machamp's got a great matchup here. We can allow the body slam to go through, we over farm, and now we fire off this cross chop at a range where I believe cross chop should be enough to KO. So cross chop comes through, we do KO, we've got a little bit of residual energy, so if that Haxorus comes back in, we are going to be able to start pressuring it with cross chops. So there is the Haxorus. This cross chop is going to do huge damage, so we actually draw a shield. They're looking to try and counter us down, which they do. However, we've got a move loaded on Gyarados. You can see we lose CMP. I do click the Aqua Tail as it is less energy, and it is going to KO from this range. We shield up the Dragon Tail. This Aqua Tail will take him out, even though it is resisted, which it does. And now let's see what's in the back. In the back, they've got a Metagross. So this right here should be yet another G to the G. Crunch gets the last shield. We now switch out into Snorlax. They're building up an absolute bucket load of energy. We're going to shield this Meteor mashup. And we are now going to do a couple more licks. And when I believe Superpower will KO, it does around 40%, I fire off the Superpower. It's important to get the lick damage in before you are debuffed, because obviously it does more damage. The Superpower does KO, and that is a G to the G. So you can see we showcased 3 sets there. We went 4 and 1 in all 3 sets. So that's 12 and 3 overall. I did 2 more sets, which were 3 2s. I gained around 150 points. This team is so strong. If you got access to the free Pokemon, I'd highly recommend it. You can see that there's hardly any fighters in the meta. However, I believe that was 6 top lefts when you saw Machamp. So if you've got a good IV, Shadow Machamp, I'd highly recommend investing in it and using it in the Master Premier. I would recommend the Shadow over the regular because it can actually beat Metagross in the one shield where the regular can't. And if you have got a Shadow and you run Stone Edge, you can one-shot Gyarados and Dragonite, and you're almost near one-shot togikiss. So it is a real fun moveset and a great mon for this meta. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate if you smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one.